Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is the fifth in a five-part series of webinars specifically designed for new members or people that may have been members for a while and are just new users in BNI Connect and learning about all the great functionality for the first time. We started off our series with a little background information on BNI Connect and how to enter your profile and upload your profile. The second part of the series was how to utilize the online slips to keep track of your referrals and your one-to-ones and your thank you for closed business. We then went into the social media components of BNI Connect. Just yesterday we talked about going deeper into BNI Connect. We talked about the reports and the tools and some other functions in the system. And then today, as I said, the last part of this series is going to be visitors. How can we use the system in order to invite visitors to BNI Connect, how to register visitors for an upcoming meeting, and then how to follow up with them as well. Before we get started with today's webinar, a couple of just quick housekeeping things. This is a live webinar. That means if you have any questions as we're going through the functionality today, just pop that question into the GoToWebinar software, just type it in. I'll see it pop up on my screen and I'll be able to answer it as we're going along. We'll also be recording this session so that you're able to go back and review it later, or you can pass on the recording to other people that you feel might need access to this information. The recording will be available in a couple of different places, both on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, as well as on the support site, which you can access by clicking the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect when you're logged in. All right, let's go ahead and get started with today's session. And again, we're going to be talking about visitors today. Now, the very next slide here is going to be the flow of visitors as far as BNI Connect is concerned anyway, the flow of visitors. Now this particular graphic, by the way, is part of a 53-page manual on the visitor process in BNI Connect. If you would like a copy of that manual, you'll notice in the in the GoToWebinar software, there is a handouts section. I have uploaded the full manual in both docx format as well as in PDF format. So if you'd like a copy of that, just click on the link to download it. If you happen to be listening to this in a recording, then please just email us support@bniconnect.com. Again, that's support@bniconnect.com, and we will be happy to send you a copy of the manual. But here's the flow of visitors, and you'll see what it starts out with. There's three phases to a visitor. The first two phases happen before the meeting. So the first phase is inviting visitors. So getting a visitor to come to the meeting. And there's a great functionality in BNI Connect that helps with inviting visitors by sending a visitor invitation email. Now the second part of this process is the registration process. This right here is the core of the whole piece. And this right here is what's going to help more visitors show up to your chapter. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but I'm a member, by the way. I've been a member of BNI since 2002. So I've been going to meetings for the last 14 years and inviting visitors that whole time. And once in a while, it has happened to me that I've invited a visitor and they didn't show up. Since using the registration piece, though, I'm having almost no call, no shows. That problem has pretty much gone away. And the reason for that is that this registration piece makes it more official. It helps them to know that they are registered to an official meeting. It's not just a, hey, yeah, if you want to show up type thing. It's an RSVP. It also reminds them to go to the meeting. Now the final part of this process is the follow-up. Now this is usually done by a leadership team person or the visitor hosts in order to keep track of the visitors that actually showed up to the meeting, send them follow-up thank yous, and then you're also able to use this for reporting purposes in the future, such as inviting visitors back to another meeting or inviting visitors to something like a business after hours event or a holiday party or something like that. So let's take a look at how this works in BNI Connect. So this first step here, inviting visitors. Let's take a look at that. So I'm going to switch over actually to the live BNI Connect now. And here's the home screen in BNI Connect. In order to get to some of these other functions, though, we are going to have to go beyond the home screen here. Now, the place where almost everything in BNI Connect is located that's not on the home screen is going to be under these menus along the top. We have our home button, which will take us back here. We have our network, which is all of the social media functions. So it's really, network is interacting with other people here in BNI Connect. So it's going to be the connections and the groups, the testimonials. The next two places are operations and reports. Now, 99% of the time, the other functions that you're going to need are going to be under operations or reports. Here's the thing to remember. Reports are read only. Reports are read only. So if you're looking to do something or enter something, the place to go is always going to be operations. And in this case, we're looking to send out a visitor invitation. So therefore, we're going to go to operations because operations is the day-to-day operations of the chapter. So I'm going to go to operations. And now we're going to have a bunch of options under operations. You can see we have manage visitors, and we're going to have meeting management and manage memberships and manage goals and the mentoring program. However, the option that we're looking for is a little bit further down the list, and it's going to be create email. So if we want to send out an email invitation, we're going to go to create email. Now, once we get to create email, there's a couple of different options. We have three options, actually. The first is email my chapter. By the way, this is a great little tool for if you need to get a message out to your chapter. Let's say that you're on the leadership team or you're the growth coordinator and you need to remind them about a visitor's day coming up or something like that. You can always do email my chapter. This will give you the full email address list of everybody in your chapter. Let me switch back over to a bigger chapter here. And you can see it has all the email addresses. You can highlight that, copy and paste it into your own email program. But the one we're looking for right now is the second one down, and that is the email visitor invitation. Now, what the visitor invitation is it's just a, fill in the blank here. Just fill in the name, the company name, the email address, and a personal message. And what this is going to do is to put that into this custom template that the marketing department has designed and has some nice, gorgeous BNI graphics in it that's got just the right words to say in order to invite somebody. And it will send that out as an email. So here's how it works. By the way, if you want to try this out, if you just want to see what it looks like, see how it operates, send an email to yourself. So just send yourself an invitation so you can see what it looks like. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send one to John Smith from Smith Co. And I'm going to use my own email address so that I'm sure that this is going to go to me, right? And then I'm going to put in a personal message. The personal message is going to be the introductory paragraph in this email that gets sent out. One thing to keep in mind, BNI is not a spam organization. We are a word-of-mouth marketing organization. We are a referral organization. That means that we should not be using this tool as a means of just blindly spamming people. As a matter of fact, I like to look at this as the second invitation that you might be sending to somebody. For example, let's say that I'm at a networking event. So I'm out at, the Chamber of Commerce function, and here in Rhode Island we do the First Friday Coffee. It's a breakfast event, and we do the business after hours and things like that. So let's say I'm at one of these functions and I'm networking, I'm meeting people, I'm talking to people, and I say, hey, yeah, you know what? I'd really love it if you visited my BNI chapter. And you're a plumber. We've been looking for a plumber for a long time. We have a great construction team, an electrician, and a builder, and a handyman. I'm sure they'd be able to work well with you. How'd you like to come and meet them? Yeah, great. I'll come. When do we meet? Oh, we meet on Thursdays at 7 o'clock in the morning. Sure, yeah, just send me more information. That's when I use this invitation to then send them more information. So my opening paragraph, my personal message would be something along the lines of, it was great meeting you at the chamber event. I can't wait to introduce you to my referral team. Right, nice and short and sweet. When I hit send, it is going to take that information, it's going to wrap it up in a nice little package, stick a bow on top, and it is going to send that invitation immediately to the email. Now, I used, if you remember, my own personal email address, which means that this invitation is going to come through to me. And any second now, I should get that in my email so that you can see what this looks like. And here it comes now. BNI invitation, my chapter wants to meet you. Dear John, you see it has this nice BNI graphic here at the top. Dear John, it was great meeting you at the chamber event. I can't wait to introduce you to my referral team. It then automatically puts in all the information about my chapter, so I don't have to remember the address. I don't have to remember where we meet. I mean, I know how to drive there at, oh God, 30 in the morning, but if I have to remember the address, I don't know if I could do that off the top of my head. So it automatically inserts that in there. It then briefly describes what BNI is all about. It lets them know it's a business and professional networking organization. So it briefly describes BNI. It then also tells them they're looking for somebody in that profession, and then please click here to register or simply reply to this message. So if they reply to this message, this will go to you. It will go to whatever email address is on file for you in BNI Connect. Again, the reply to address is to you. Or of course, if they just click the link in this email, this will take them to a registration page where they can then register themselves to visit the next upcoming chapter meeting. Okay, so that is what the email looks like here in BNI Connect. And it's a nice professional way to invite somebody to the chapter. It should be the second note that they're getting from you. Otherwise, it'll just look like spam and they'll probably delete it. A couple other things about the visitor invitation. We are not tracking any information about the visitor invitation. So we're not like keeping reports. We're not making a prospect list or anything like that. We can't tell how many people have sent them or how many emails they're sending. It's just, again, a way to send a very simple but branded message out to a potential visitor. If you do need to change things about it, again, just send yourself a copy and then you can forward this or edit it and send it back out yourself. So if you need to put, let's say, our chapter collects $50, per chapter meeting or something like that for the lunch fee at the Capitol Grill, you need to put that in there. That's fine. You can go ahead and do that. Just send a copy to yourself first and then edit it. It still makes for a very good template. All right, so that is the visitor invitation. Let's take a look at the second step, the second part of this process. And again, this is the most important part of the process, and that is the registration piece. Now, again, this is the thing that really turns the whole visitor process around, because what happens is by registering somebody for a meeting, either you can register them through BNI Connect, or as you saw in the invitation, they can register themselves for an upcoming chapter meeting. So a lot of times visitors don't show up to the meeting because we end up kind of very informally inviting them to the meeting. So again, you're at that networking event, you're like, hey, yeah, why don't you come to my BNI meeting? Oh, sure, I'll be there. What time is it? Oh, it's 7 o'clock on Thursday morning. Great, see you then. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people don't know what BNI is. They've never been to a BNI meeting, and you're meeting them at a very informal networking event. So when the alarm goes off at, oh God, 30 on the day of your chapter meeting, and they look out the window and it's still dark out and they're thinking, yeah, do I really want to go to this other networking event? They're really expecting it to just be this big open networking thing with hundreds of people like they were just at when they met you. They don't know that it's a structured meeting and that it's a one person per category thing and it's really going to help their business. So a lot of times they hit the snooze button. Now by registering them though, this changes the whole even thought process and perception of the meeting. The first thing that happens when you register them is they get an email saying, you are now registered for this upcoming meeting. What that means is that they now know that they are expected to attend. So it's not nobody's really going to notice if I don't show up to this meeting to, oh, I RSVP'd to this, now I have to go. It also sends them a reminder 2 days before the meeting. It also sends a notice to the leadership team, so the president, the vice president, the secretary, treasurer, the entire visitor host team, and the director consultant, and lets all these people know, hey, by the way, John Smith is coming to this week's meeting. Be prepared to welcome him. And now that all these leaders can get together, they can call the visitor and say, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you. They can have name badges ready for them. They can do all sorts of information with this, or all sorts of things with this information. So let's see how this works. So there's 2 ways that it works. The first of which is that, let's say that they just call you up and they say, yeah, you know what? I really want to come to that meeting. You can pre-register them. All you need to do is go to, again, operations is where we do our data entry. Under operations, you should see manage visitors. Under manage visitors, most people, the only thing you're going to see under here is this option called register a prospective visitor. Now this is it's just a form. So it's just like any other form you've ever filled out on any other website. You just need to do things like pick their profession, they're in public speaking, let's say. What chapter meeting are they going to attend? You'll notice that I can only choose future dates. I can't choose anything in the past because we're registering them for a future meeting. So let's say that they are going to be coming to next week's meeting. I can then put their name in. This is Marty McFly from Flyco. We can put the address information in here. And all the other information that we might need as well. Once again, I'm going to use my own email address because I want you guys to see the email that comes through. Once I click submit, again, Marty McFly gets a notification saying you are now registered to visit this chapter meeting. So they know again that they're RSVP'd for a specific date and a specific time. And the visitor host team and the leadership team and the director consultant also get the notification. And in just a second, I should hopefully be getting here it is. You have successfully registered to visit the BNI Burr chapter. You are confirmed to visit the BNI Burr chapter on the 20th of April at 5:30 p.m., which is when we meet at the Burr chapter. Please bring plenty of business cards. You'll meet lots of local business professionals. As part of the leadership team also got noticed. Hi, Alfred. He's my vice president up in the Burr chapter. Marty McFly is confirmed to visit the BNI Burr chapter. He's in speaking. Here's his phone number, his email address. Remember to welcome him and welcome him ahead of time as well. Now, I did mention that visitors can register themselves as well. There's a couple of different ways they can do that. The first of which, of course, is in that visitor invitation. There is a link that will take them directly to the registration page. Now, if they don't have that link, you can also get there by going to the regional website. So antarcticreferrals.com. If I go to find a chapter, and let's say I'm looking for chapters, and I see the Burr chapter here, and they meet on Wednesdays at 5:30. That's a great time. I can review the membership of the chapter, see if there's people there that I want to network with. I see this chapter as Alfred E. Newman and Harvey Keitel. Got some Ricky Martin in this chapter, so I really want to meet these guys, so I'm going to click on Visit This Chapter. Now, this form is, for the most part, identical to the one that you would fill out in the members only portion of BNI Connect. It's just on the public internet side. So that means that anybody can fill this form out and just, again, choose the industry classification, who invited them. In this case, you do have to fill out a CAPTCHA code. You want to make sure that anybody filling this out on the internet is not a robot just trying to spam us and fill us with a bunch of fake information. So we do ask for that CAPTCHA code as well. Once you click enter here, the exact same process happens. Emails go out, and the great thing about this too, from a leadership perspective, we now have a report seeing who's going to be showing up to the meeting. So if I go to the reports for the chapter, and here we have a visitor registration report towards the bottom. Now I can see all of the people. By default, it's going to show me a week, but I can change that date. I can look for the next month or 2 months or 5 months, and I can see all the people that are registered for the upcoming meeting. I have Marty McFly registered for the meeting on the 20th, and it was invited by Jeremy. All right, now, this is something that most of you won't be doing, but from a visitor host perspective, or if you're a secretary-treasurer, if you're the person responsible for recording visitors, if you can get the visitors to register themselves, or you get your chapter members to help you out and register their visitors ahead of time, not only does it do that whole reminder process, but it makes your lives a lot easier. Think of a visitor's day, for example, when you might have 20, 30, 40 people at the chapter meeting, and having to go back after that meeting and enter 20 or 30 or 40 people's worth of data. If everybody just registers themselves, you just have to manage the registered visitors. And when that person shows up to the chapter meeting, all you need to do is show visitor attended, verify who invited them, verify the date that they visited, fill in any blanks, but it's mostly filled in already, and choosing whether or not to send them the follow-up email. And that's it. Very little typing. Then the person that visited gets the follow-up email as well, saying thank you so much for visiting the chapter. All right. That, my friends, is the visitor process here in BNI Connect. So it starts with inviting visitors. And then, again, the most important part of this is the visitor registration piece, registering those prospective visitors either through BNI Connect or through the invitation. And then finally, we have the follow-up emails, and we have all the reporting and everything that goes along with it. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's all well and good, and that's great in theory, but does this actually make a difference? And as a data guy, I like things to be measured, and I like to see the results. So as I mentioned to you guys before, I am a member of BNI. I've been a member of BNI for a very long time. I've been on the leadership team a number of times over the last 14 years. Now, the last time I was on the leadership team was right about when this particular piece of functionality was being introduced, about 2 years ago. I said, you know what? I'm the director of support for BNI Connect worldwide. I really need to make sure that this works. So, we were gearing up for a Visitors Day in our chapter. Traditional Visitors Day, just like every chapter around the world does, to grow our membership. And we were sending out the 40 letters and all this kind of stuff. And I just wanted to supplement it by making sure that all of our visitors were registered. Now, anybody, I don't know if you've been in BNI a long time or just a short time, but traditionally speaking, when you have a Visitors Day, especially if you're doing the letter campaign, a lot of times you'll send out 40 invitations, and let's say 20 people get back, oh yeah, I'll be there. And the week before the Visitors Day, we go around the room and everybody reports on how many visitors they're expecting. So some people, oh yeah, I have 1 visitor coming, I have 2 visitors coming, I have 4 visitors coming. Now our chapter had 50 people in it. And we meet in an Elks Club, and we have a hot breakfast, so we need to let them know about how many people are going to be showing up at the meeting. So we go around the room, okay, I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, I have 1, I have 2. And I'm doing all the math in my head, and I'm like, whoa, it looks like we're going to have like 200 people here next week. So that was pretty exciting. I'm like, great, this is going to be a knockout meeting. But I get back, and I said, Well, they say there's going to be about 200 people, but when I look at the visitor registration, we only have 6 visitors registered. So yeah, that's kind of odd. So what I did was I sent out this very simple email to my chapter. I just said, hey, listen, we have this Visitors Day in 6 days, and we only have 6 people confirmed for the meeting. Do me a favor, please register your visitors. So about a couple hours later, my email box starts going ding, 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 because I have, I'm on the president, I'm getting these notifications that visitors are being registered for the meeting. And I said, whoa, let me send out another email. We had now 5 days left, and we had 21 registered visitors. Like, yes, this is working. Awesome, 21 registered visitors. The next day we had 26, then we went to 34 visitors, then we went to 39 visitors. 13 hours until our Visitors Day, and we had 45 registered visitors. And I am psyched. So traditionally, when we have our number of visitors, we're like, okay, well, we have 40 people coming. Expect about half of them to show up, or maybe even 40%. So based on those numbers, I'm kind of expecting like 20 people in the room, maybe 25 if we're lucky. Instead, we had 42. So we had 45 people registered, 42 of them showed up. And you know what? 2 out of the other 3 called and apologized that they couldn't make it to the meeting because they got the reminder that said, hey, you're registered to visit the meeting. They said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it. Something came up. Can I please come to another meeting? Absolutely. We'll reschedule you for next week's meeting. We ended up with 9 applications, and we ended up with 8 new members that day. That was an absolutely wonderful Visitors Day. And just to back it up, if it works once, it should work multiple times. These results need to be repeatable. So we did this at a future Visitor Day as well. We ended up with 25 visitors that time with 4 applications pending. So we were getting much better results through the simple act of registering our visitors. Okay, and that, my friends, is the visitor process here in BNI Connect. Now, we are getting right down to the bottom of the hour here. What I'd like to do is to open this up to any questions. If anybody has any questions about the visitor process in BNI Connect or about anything else in BNI Connect, I'd be happy to answer those questions now. While you're thinking of any questions, just a reminder, this is being recorded. The place to find it will be on the support site. So click this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you over to the support site. You'll see our list of upcoming webinars. A great referral for me is to please let your other chapter members know about these webinars and ask them to please register. That would be a perfect referral for me. You'll also see the links to the recorded series. The April webinar series has been recorded. It will be uploaded shortly. And we do have a couple more webinars this month. On April 26th, we're going to be talking about the chapter web pages. And on April 27th, we'll be going through the online renewal process in BNI Connect. And as I said, we also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And up here we have our entire video library. We have hundreds of videos. If you'd like to be notified of when new videos are uploaded, just become a subscriber and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But we have not only the webinars, but we have even short videos, 3- and 4-minute education moment videos. So a great place to find just quick help on things. And finally, I'd absolutely love it if you gave us a like to Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do announcements and reminders and all sorts of things up here on our Facebook channel as well. All right, it doesn't look like we have any questions. Just a reminder, please do download the manual from the handouts section, or again, if you're listening to this in a recording, just email support@bniconnect.com. We'll be happy to send it to you. All right, if there are no questions, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for being here and learning more about BNI Connect. I wish you the best of luck in your membership. If you have any questions going forward, please do feel free to shoot us an email, support@bniconnect.com. check out the support site, or your director consultants are always happy to help. I look forward to seeing you all on a future webinar. Have a great rest of the week and happy connecting.